Is astrology a guide to aid us in mastering the universe? This is the Cosmic Community Podcast with Galactic Ambassador Stacey Dredd. This astrology report is for the week of December 23rd, and I hope everything is going well for you, getting ready for your holiday season or right in the midst of it. Whenever this message gets to you, it is the perfect timing. There is a lot of different planetary action going on this week that I feel like is definitely part of these larger cycles that we're going through, experiencing these, a lot of the same types of aspects going on over and over and over again. And so lots of different opportunities to see the same situations and the same circumstances in life and in the greater realms of themes that we're battling and dealing with and moving through right now and transitioning and adjusting for and dreaming about for the future. We're just in the midst of these very larger cycles right now. And the end of Sagittarius season was definitely an intense one as all the planets moved through the final degrees of Sagittarius. They moved into a square with both Saturn and Neptune at the final degrees of Pisces. And a square is a challenging aspect. It's an opportunity to take action when we've noticed that something isn't working correctly or a problem arises, a challenge arises with the square, and we move through that. But we've been getting this ongoing square between the final degrees of Sagittarius, which Sagittarius is the sign of belief systems. It's the sign of religion, and it's also just a fire sign that's energetic and is about bringing energy and enthusiasm to the situation, and a Jupiter-ruled sign. So it makes things really big, and it's the planet of expansion, and it's the planet of seeking the truth and learning higher knowledge, and the sign that contains a lot of wisdom. So it's a big ticket order when we are in Sag season, because it makes us question all of those things which are part of the framework of who we are, and of course those deep values that we hold and those deep core belief systems that we carry with us through this life. We've brought in with us through karma, through ancestral karma, through energetics from our past lives, and we're moving through this life, hoping to set up for, that good future transition also energetically. So Sagittarius works through all of these themes. And this end of Pisces area, 25 to 29 degrees, is the area where we're talking about in Sag and Pisces. And in Pisces, we have Saturn at 25, almost 26 of Pisces, and then Neptune at 29 and a half, making both of those planets making their final pass through that last degree of Pisces, which is not just the last degrees of Pisces, but the last degrees of the entire zodiac. It's the 12th sign. And so as soon as we end Pisces, we start anew in Aries. So Pisces is about endings, and we can feel these endings coming up. And maybe we've already been in the midst of making decisions and taking action that is going to help us find completion points and cross the T's, dot the I's, take care of that business in Pisces before we move into the next sign of Aries, which is all about new beginnings and birth, rebirth. And so we'll see Saturn and Neptune in 2026 both move into Aries. This is going to be in February of 2026. And so until then, every time we see at any point come through the final degrees of Sagittarius, they square off to these planets, which are making some true finalizations. And Saturn and Neptune are sort of a conflicting pair. And Saturn is about realism and thinking about things realistically, being very grounded about things and rational with our decisions, thinking things through, using our mind. And, there's a lot of rules and boundaries that come with Saturn, and it's kind of a heavier sort of energy. And then Neptune is the dreamer. It's like the infinite dreamer that wants to think about all the fantastic things in life, the things that are mysterious and the things that don't have boundaries or rule structures to them because we barely understand them, mythology and spirituality and like all these things that it's like there's physical showings of it existing, but like the actual proof, is just part of the Akashic records. It's just part of the accepted social structure of the fact that, it's just mysterious, but yet it's still part of who we are and it's part of our culture and it's part of our society. And so these two conflicting planets, creating these endpoints together, we are taking the dreams and hopes and desires that Neptune has into consideration. And then also Saturn is thinking about things really rationally and realistically. What can we actually make happen here when it comes to these dreams? Because soon Saturn and Neptune are going to be ushering each other, moving into Aries for these new beginnings together. And that's going to be an amazing time in February 2026. And so this square here is being activated on Tuesday, December 23rd by Venus. Venus is moving through the 29th degree of Sagittarius, finishing up her time, going through Sagittarius themes, and finalizing these dreams, hopes, and desires in this square with Neptune, possibly coming to some sort of challenging point with it all, and then realizing that there is action that can be taken to finally move forward. And Venus is going to be experiencing new energy because on December 24th, we see her moving out of Sagittarius into Capricorn, out of a fire sign into an earth sign. Fire signs are full of inspiration and they're the energetic, kind of more creative, expressive, outward signs. And then you get these earth signs, Capricorn, very grounded, very much more thought out, much more step by step. Okay, so we've dreamed the dreams and created the big visions in Sagittarius in terms of Venus themes, love and money, and also value systems and relationships. So we're moving into a new sign here. We're moving those themes into a more grounded energy, a more step-by-step sort of ambitious sign that Capricorn is. Capricorn's a go-getter, wants to get things done and make sure that the structure is very nicely laid out. So in terms of bringing this big Sagittarius vision, we are creating structure with it in Capricorn. And so it's a very, very nice place to be landing, especially with all of those challenging squares that required us to bend and move and make decisions and kind of have these tough moments. We will see Mercury still move through this final degrees of Sagittarius next week. In next week's report, we'll be chatting about this square again. So we're kind of still in the midst of that, but we'll be adjusting to this new energy in our hearts. Venus is our heart space, and as I mentioned, the love and money are big themes there. So we'll be adjusting to new ways of doing love and money as of the 24th. And also the moon moves into Pisces on the night of the 24th. And Pisces is a much more internal type of sign. It's a water sign, so more in tune with emotions and more in tune with the mystical, mysterious things of life. And Pisces is also a wonderful nurturer. Is going to also be the nurturer to the point of getting tired of that and putting out everything for others and, not really feeling reciprocated. So do be careful with the moon in Pisces over the latter parts of the day on the 24th and the 25th and into the 26th, because we can tend to push really hard and do a lot for others, make sure that we're still nurturing ourselves. And this is also going to come in, the moon is going to move over the North Node in Pisces on the 25th. The 25th is a very fateful day as the moon passes over the North Node of Destiny. And this is going to be a day where we could feel as though some real cosmic course corrections are coming in. Things are really falling into place, or even things are falling away. Because when we have the moon in a conjunction with the North Node, it's opposite the South Node. And the South Node is about things that need to leave our life, things we need to walk away from, things that need to just slip away. And the North Node is where we're headed, the things that need to come in. So we could see things come in and go out on the 25th. This is at the moon conjuncts with the North Node at 12 degrees of Pisces and opposes at 12 degrees of Virgo. So if that is a hot point for you, 12 of Pisces or Virgo, then you're going to be feeling this. This is going to be quite a fateful day where there's going to be some permanent, fateful connections to the future and some permanent changes to the direction in which your life is headed. Pisces Virgo is also the health axis, so we could come into some news on the 25th about our health and where things are at in terms of that. So then the 26th is a quiet day. We don't have any planetary aspects that day. We do have lunar aspects. It's kind of a mixed bag, but not too busy. The moon conjuncts with Saturn that day, so a little bit of a heavier vibe on the 26th. Those rules, restrictions, those boundaries come in. But again, that rational, realistic mindset comes in too. So use that, because we're dreaming dreams right now, and we're figuring out how to make those dreams come into reality, which will happen in February of 2026 when these planets move into Aries. And these are like things we've been dreaming up for a long time. So it's not new. Saturn, Neptune both did their retrograde back here to Pisces. So the moon is going to move over Saturn on the 26th, reminding us of some things that might need to come to completion for these this next round of these dreams to come in. And then the moon moves into Aries on the 27th. And before that, conjuncts with Neptune at that last critical degree, and then moves into Aries. Boom, we get this fresh new start to the zodiac. We get this feeling of maybe wanting to initiate some new things. Moon moving through Pisces. We've seen a lot of endings and some kind of fateful things happening over the last couple days. And then we get new, fresh energy here. And Mercury, the planet of our mind and the planet of our travel and transportation and communication is going to be making a couple of aspects as it moves through the 21st degree of Sagittarius. It in conjunction with Jupiter, which is making some big adjustments. We could be straight up just making some big adjustments to some circumstances or some communications that have come in, maybe some new ideas that were spoke of. We're adjusting to them. And after all, Mercury is building up to this Sag Pisces square with Saturn, Neptune. So it's imminent, knows it's ahead, can already feel it, and is ready to, chat about how we may be able to bring these dreams in realistically. And then also Mercury makes a trine with Chiron on the 27th, and Chiron is the wounded healer. So we could have our wounds exposed on the 27th, but in a trine, it's a supportive type of energy, but a trine is not positive or negative. It's just whatever is meant to happen with this Mercury Chiron interaction. It's going to happen fast, and it's going to be inspired because it's in a fire sign, and it's going to have some kind of outward expression with it also. So, take care of your wounds, your inner wounds. Chiron's retrograde right now, so we are going inside and really facing our wounds right now, our karmic ancestral wounds that have come into this life with us and will be something that we deal with throughout this entire life. And the idea with Chiron and those wounds is that we come to a mastery with that so that we can work through it and then help others to work through those when we can. The 28th is another quiet day. This is just a few lunar aspects, sort of a mixed bag that day. We do get the conjunction with Chiron. So again, those wounds could kind of be coming up still on Sunday, the 28th. And then on the 29th, the moon moves into Taurus, and there is an insane amount of trines on this day. So there could just be some really supportive, quick moving, grounded earth energy. This is all the earth signs making trines. And so there could be some true action, some steps forward, some grounded action that has been needing maybe to take place, and then when these trines come through, it just slips into place. It just happens really fast with trines. And then another trine between Mars and the South Node on the 29th. So this 29th, this day, is really loaded with trines, and it's just going to be a fast moving day. We're gonna see an opportunity here to use the earth energy just right to get set up. And there is some really interesting astrology coming up when we reach Aquarius season. And so I really feel like Capricorn time, this ambitious time of wanting to lay the groundwork, making sure that the structures are solid, that all four corners are being held down, that the glues are holding together. After all, this is part of the structural integrity of life. Even just the bonds that we have with people. Capricorn's about the legacy that we are leaving over the long term. So it could really have something to do with building in relationships also, since Venus is in Capricorn and has just been so inspired after creating these big visions and, setting some true realistic goals for herself coming through that square with Saturn and Neptune as they're finishing up their work in Pisces. And this is all part of these larger cycles that we're going through because, as I mentioned, next year we're going to have some real, true new beginnings. We're going to see the past really put to bed and the future upon us. And so we use these times right now to adjust, to understand, to ask questions, to go internal and make sure that we're checking in on ourselves, taking care of ourselves physically. As Mars moves through Capricorn, we can focus on truly taking care of anything that we need to do for our physical body, also to create more of a structure for ourselves moving into the future. So I just love the astrology this week, and it just builds up to this really quick moving Monday, the 29th. I'm just really interested to see what happens. And I thank you so much for being tuned in here to the Cosmic Community Astrology with your galactic ambassador, Stacey Dredd. And I hope you have a really great week. Happy holidays to all. And I'll be talking to you again very soon. Take care. Peace. Thank you for listening to the Cosmic Community Podcast. More can be found at kpov.org/thecosmiccommunity.